A story from the Middle East. It begins 4 years ago with 4 young people, 2 Israelis, 2 Palestinians. They'd been taught to hate each other. Now they were brought together to see if they could learn to live in peace, to see if personal friendships could short-circuit each side's demonology of the other. The friendships they formed are now under tremendous strain with the collapse of the peace process last September and the months of escalating violence that have followed. The seeds of peace were sown, but can they survive? We'll find out shortly, but we'll start where it all began.
There is only one way that you can go. If you want peace, you go just in the way of peace. And if you go in war, you go just in the way of war. You can jump between the 2 ways.
You cannot achieve peace without coexistence, and you cannot achieve coexistence without trying to achieve peace.
They meet in 1997 at a summer camp in the US called Seeds of Peace. A bold experiment designed to let Israeli and Palestinian kids get to know each other, to eat, work and play together, and most of all, to talk to each other.
Seeds of Peace is a summer camp, but it's not like the normal camps. You don't see things like this. You don't see Israelis and Palestinians walking together. You don't see Israelis and Palestinians standing in the same place together. You don't see Israelis and Palestinians talking to each other.
If my brother will throw stones, will you kill him? I mean, my little brother, he's 12 years old.
I don't think that it is a good way to show your opinions by throwing stones.
At the Seeds of Peace camp are some of the brightest young people that this troubled corner of the world has to offer. Sivan Ranon, an Israeli who was born in a bomb shelter during a rocket attack on her town close to the Lebanese border. Bushra Jawabri, a Palestinian who's lived all of her 16 years in a crowded refugee camp on the West Bank. Yossi Zilberman, the son of Russian Jews who emigrated to Israel in 1978. And Asil Asleh, who was born inside the borders of Israel in a village near the Sea of Galilee, and so is an Israeli citizen, but who considers himself a Palestinian first.
Hey, Seeds of Peace! Hey, Seeds of Peace!
They and others like them have been invited here, not with any naive belief that they can instantly fix the problems of the Middle East, but so that they can talk and argue as equals.
Killing innocent people is the worst thing it could be. It doesn't accomplish anything.
Have you ever asked yourself, why do these people do like these operations?
I know why.
It's what the camp is all about, learning to use words to fight battles rather than stones and bullets.
We talk about very difficult issues.
You have all the power, you see. We don't get to talk about in normal life.
A bus exploding, it's not a very small thing, you know.
A soldier, which has a gun. Because, I mean, most of the Palestinians, they don't have guns. The ones that commit the terrorism have bombs, and it's wrong. But, like, a soldier that beats a little boy, to me, that, like, it's unbelievable.
It's not like a routine thing that soldiers come and beat innocent boys.
But
it's not a policy.
But it's not a routine thing that Palestinians bomb buses.
It is routine.
Hamas is. That is their goal.
An organization. It is an organization that kills Israelis.
That is their goal.
We're not here to grieve on how many people died from both sides. If terrorism is killing innocent people, both sides are being victimized every day, both sides. So we're both terrorists and we're both victims at the same time. We're not here to be acting as victims. We're not supposed to be here. We're not here as victims. We're here as leaders, okay? Or future leaders. We have to build something, not grieve on what happened. Right. We're not going to get anywhere that way because suffering, you can't tell how much you suffer from how many people die.
At the Seeds of Peace camp, the youngsters experience for the first time ever the religious ceremonies of the people they've been taught to hate as enemies.
It's nice to see how the religion of other people, Jewish people.
They were like laying on the ground. I like that. I think it's beautiful and it shows real deep believement.
The 50th anniversary of Israel's creation is just around the corner. And for the kids in Maine, it means very different things.
For Palestinians in 1948, it's the catastrophe and Nakba. What does the Nakba, the catastrophe, mean to us?
Yes.
People immigrated from their native villages.
In 1948, Israel's War of Independence forced Bushra's family to leave their ancestral village, Iraq al-Manshir.
My family lost everything. They became refugees.
Bushra has lived her entire life within the confines of the squalid Arub refugee camp.
They were refugees because of the war that the Arab countries started. They moved because there was a war and they were kicked out of the land. First of all, yes, no. Some of them were kicked out of the land. Yes, maybe they were kicked because it was a war.
If Israel attacked,
We didn't land suddenly.
we were already there.
You never know how tough it is to make peace until something terrible happens. And something terrible has happened. Two bombs went off today in Israel, in a marketplace in Jerusalem. At least 18 people were killed and about 40 people wounded. This is going to be a test of every single one of you, and whether the sound of peace can be louder than the horror of war. And it's going to be up to every one of us to pull together.
As hard it was with the bad news, I'm very grateful that I could go through that experience with my Arab friends.
Extraordinary things have happened here, including a friendship between two girls, Sivan, an Israeli, and Bushra, a Palestinian, that could never have grown on their home soil.
We're gonna go back home, we're gonna face it again. The people who don't want peace. We're gonna go back, we're gonna prove to them that we can do it.
And so the seeds of peace go back to their homes, armed only with video cameras, back to a country where the friendships they've formed will be sorely tested.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, how are you?
Like, it's only 20 minutes from here to your place. Oh, yeah? You can't get into Gaza.
Today I got a telephone call from Hazem. He's a very nice guy from the Palestinian Authority. He was in my bunk in camp. It really meant a lot to me because this is the first time ever that I got a telephone call from a Palestinian boy.
My town was an Arab village before the independence war in '48, and it was destroyed. Many of the refugees that ran away are living now in Arub camp.
This is Arub camp. I live in it. It was established by the United Nations in 1948. It is a refugee camp. A place where some Palestinians came when they were kicked off their land in 1948. It is not a healthy place. There are 8,000 of us living here. We feel sometimes that we live in a prison. We don't feel secure with the Israeli soldiers around. This area, it is like under the Israeli government, not the Palestinian National Authority.
Mustafa is the most respected woman in Arub camp. We are very proud of her and of the other Palestinian women who are the same age as her.
بدناك توصفي لنا كيف الرجل ماشية كيف الأراضي.
نحصد غنم بقر نرعى ولا مدهوشين في السمن وفي الدنيا وفي السعادة.
It is very important for me to visit Araq al-Manshiyah because it is the native village for my family. But in reality, it is now Kiryat Gat, where the Israelis live.
I don't know how people in Bushra's camp see me, and especially as one who is now living in their native village. They may think that I personally took their land, but right now, it is my land right now. And as much as I don't like very much my town, it is my town. And my roots are here. I was born here.
Sivan grew up here, on a kibbutz that was constantly on the alert for terrorist attack.
They used to sit and guard and see if any of the Arab villages here are about to attack where they lived. I think of things that I hear that maybe it's not that important after all, that Israel should be a Jewish state, and I really can't accept that. My grandmother. Yeah, I did.
יפה מאוד. אני חושבת שבזמן הגרמנים אנחנו הרבה קצת כמו עדר. היום זה גמרנו. יש לנו כוח, יש לנו, אנחנו קיימים, וזה עובדה קיימת, כבר אותנו, בארץ שלנו אי אפשר לדכא.
I could see it in her eyes, how horrible it felt to be hated just because you're someone from a certain group. How can we, as Israelis, as people that most of us have connections with people that lived the Holocaust, that were prosecuted because they were Jews, how can we go and do the same thing, not the same, like to be racist towards another nationality or another religion or whatever. And it doesn't matter how angry we are about the other side or about what a group of people from the other side is doing to us. It really doesn't matter.
Two bodies still on the scene, and those could have been the bodies of possible suicide bombers. The latest reports, though, of 3...
There was a bombing act in Jerusalem, and 4 citizens were killed. I don't think that this is the right way.
I tried phoning some of my Israeli friends to make sure they are okay and tell them that the Palestinians are not happy that the Israelis are killed in this bombing.
I got a telephone call from Bushra, and it meant a lot to me that she called. And I think that this is the first step.
Now, as Bushra's family celebrates her 12-year-old brother's birthday, the conflict comes closer than ever.
A group of Israeli soldiers were working by my house.
Hi, Mom. Hi.
They threw a tear gas bomb through our window and broke the glass. My little brother was sitting there when it happened.
What happened?
The Israeli broke our window.
Can you come near?
The gas didn't go off, but he could have been hurt.
They broke our window?
I'm so angry for this.
You see, Yaron, Riut and Sivan, how are you? I need to talk with you. I want you to be with me. And please don't worry about because the soldiers broke the window. I have to be happy today. Bye. Don't worry.